I remember when Sage was going through her motion sickness experience in those years, I was trying everything, going to see anybody. And I remember one time I heard about this man who had trained like 1,000 chiropractors around the world. And I thought, well, maybe chiropractic. And the guy said, no, but he does this work on you, but he barely even touches you. He like puts his finger here, and people's bodies move. And I'm like, I'm going to try anything at this point, right? I was going to try anything. I was exhausted from trying things. And all of a sudden, I said, well, I'd like to talk to this guy. And long story short, I was going to be in the Gold Coast of Australia, and this man was also going to be there. And I said, would you see if you'd be willing to come meet my wife and maybe work on her? He said, well, he's going to be there for 4 days. They talked to him. He'll come work on her once or twice a day for 4 days. I said, that'd be magical. I'd love to try anything we can. So he comes in, and his name is Dr. Epstein. He's now my best buddy named Donny. And Donny comes in, and frankly, when he came in, I'm picturing this healer, and we all have our rules about what we think someone's supposed to look like. And Donny didn't look like that healer to me. Like, he looked like he was from New York, and, he had white shoes on and some gold jewelry. And I'm like, this guy's from New Jersey. There's no fucking way. I was like, he couldn't be a fucking healer. There's no way this could happen, right? So he comes in, though, and he's talking very official, and he's got all these big words. In the middle of it, though, I looked in his eyes, and I saw this beautiful soul. I mean, I knew him, and I said, excuse me, I really appreciate you being here. It's amazing you're being here. But I said, Dr. Epstein, I said, you're really a fucking Donny. I said, do you mind if I call you Donny? And he got a big grin on his face. He goes, I am a Donny. I'm Donny. I said, I know. So can I talk to Donny instead of Dr. fucking Epstein? Because he's fucking boring. I said, he's obviously a genius. I'm not questioning his genius, but I'd like to talk to Donny. And we got this moment where we really connected. And he laughed his ass off instead of being offended. That's why I knew he was a cool guy. And we got in there, and he said, well, let me show you what I do. And instead of explaining it all, I said, just give us the juice. Show us what you do. So he put Sage on this table, and I'll never forget this moment. It was mind-boggling. Put her on this table, and he walked behind her, and he took my fingers. He said, now watch this. And he took one of my fingers, and he put on this part of the bone on the side of her neck, and this one on the other bone. And he walked back 3 feet, and he went like this, and that bone moved, and her face is down, and there was no sound. And I was like, what the fuck? And he went like this, and this one moved. And I stepped back, and he started doing this shit that, again, you think you're being punked. Something's going on here, right? This is bullshit, And he's doing all this stuff, and it looks, like he's a little wizard or some shit, right? And Sage starts arching her back and looking up like this and start doing these like spontaneous yoga positions, and she doesn't do yoga. It was crazy. And then we turned over, and we had a home on the Gold Coast of Australia that was on the ocean, and our living room, we had a 3-story place, and on the 3rd story was a swimming pool, and we cut it open so that the living room ceiling was the swimming pool with the light coming through the water into the living room. It was an unbelievable thing. Great place. So the light's coming through like a shaft, looked like God is shining through onto her face. And she's sitting here, and she just started to cry uncontrollably. It was beautiful. And it healed a lot of things for her that had gone in her life, that some of which she hadn't even told me at that stage in our relationship. It was just beautiful. So I was like, put me on that fucking thing. Give me some of that juice, right? So he puts me down there, and he does these things with me, and my whole body relaxed, but I didn't have any breakthroughs and shit like that. Nothing happened. So I'm like, well, she's more sensitive than me, but I feel good. It got my body adjusted, but I was expecting a bright light and shit like that, and that wasn't happening. So then he came back, and he worked on her a second time, and after he left it, my little Bonnie Pearl, she doesn't curse. She doesn't, if she says she'll say sugar or shoot and things like that, right? So we're obviously, balance each other out in that part of our life. And it's not that she's not capable. Lexi can say fuck, right? But Lexi doesn't usually run the show. So my little sugar plum gets on this thing, and he works on my little sugar plum, and she comes out, and he walks away. So I'll see you later tonight. And she's like, what the fuck is the matter with you? I'm like, what? And then she must have used the word fuck, I don't know, 500 times. Next hour, and I was like, what? And we got in an argument and everything else. And when he finally got back about 3 hours later, he got off the elevator, and I grabbed by the throat, and I said, fix my fucking wife, fix her. And by that time, we'd gotten through it. But what it was, he goes, oh, I forgot to mention, that's the vertebra that affects anger. I said, well, yeah, she had about a lifetime's worth she just dumped on my fucking ass thanks to you. So then he'd given me 2 or 3 sessions, and on I think 2nd or 3rd day, I was on the table, and he started, just touch me here, and all of a sudden I was like, ah, and I was making this noise, and then my brain was going, this is fucking stupid, this is not fucking real, and I even said, this isn't real, And I felt like this rage coming out of my body, right? And I've always had this huge lump in the middle of my back. I used to be much more like this. And I've had body work for years and everything else. And when we were done, it was in. And I never had it in that I could remember since I was a little boy. And I was crying, and this anger and crying, and it was just like this shift. So Donny is one of those people that has that ability. And by the way, I'm mentioning this because my dear friend Donny Epstein's right here. So if you want to know about him, he's really there. Oh, yes. I also didn't want to just tell you the story to honor him and tease him, but also because I've had 3 forces in my life that help my body transform. No one's done more than Donny has done for me in the air, but the beautiful thing Donny's done is I used to get put back together. I get on stage and go for 6 days and nights, and they put me back together at the end of the day and get me back up so I could do it again. That was when I was in my 30s. When I was 25, 26, 27, I had so much pain every day walking around. And what Donny got me to do is learn how to reorganize myself. I didn't have to be dependent upon someone else. And now I have enough strategies in my own nervous system that it helps to have somebody like Donny for sure. But I can make the change in myself that I need to get the job done. And what's happened is I've gotten stronger and stronger and stronger with no bullshit as years have gone by. I'm 51 years old and so much stronger than I was when I was 25 or 35. And it's not some mental attitude. Structurally, physically, flexibility, all those things are higher level. And that's because there's an energy and an organization to it that has to do with consciousness more than just exercising as well. And I mention that to you because maybe later on we'll put it at the back there, but Donny's website, because he's trained all kinds of doctors around the world that do this kind of work. So if you'd like to get it, I'm sure you can do it. But again, it's a different level of consciousness. He has a gift. And by the way, he can be unconscious like me. We can all be unconscious, but not when he's working with somebody. There's something that he channels when he goes to do that. He steps into it and he's able to fucking deliver.